When you give it enough thought, you start to realize, okay, there's this way or there's this way, and then you can add ideas into it. And
Mhm.
then once you have an idea and you know it works, you do it, you try it. And I would try it with my fiance, or I'd try it with a friend, or I would try it at my next show or whatever, and see what the response is, see if it actually works. If it works really well, you can keep it in, and then you can script into it. And now it becomes a beautiful piece,
Yeah.
not just an effect. It becomes like an actual piece where, oh, it's got patter, it's got movement, it's got stage position, it's got eye connections, all those things turn it into a eureka moment.
So this is our episode, The Process here with our guest, Mr. Bobby Motta.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking the time. And
Pleasure.
you have a guest with you as well.
I have my fiance, Dessa Burnaby.
Nice to
Hello.
meet you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I get.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. And well, if you're not familiar with what the whole podcast is about, I'll just break it down, even for like people who tune in for the first time to the show.
Mhm.
It's basically the reason the name of the show is called The Process. So it's basically what the creative process is for creators around the world, you know. So what I looked is that either be it conscious or subconscious, everyone they have the same 5 steps. Okay.
Mhm.
What's weird I found during this project, I found is that people don't necessarily do those steps in the same order. Okay.
Right.
So initially there would be phase one. Step one would be your inspiration. So what you do on a day-to-day, you know, to keep yourself inspired. Step
Mhm.
two would be incubation. So that like, do you need to set yourself from 9 to 5? I'm a creator, or does it come anytime? Like, how do you incubate those ideas? Like, how do you get them to like, blossom? Yeah. Then phase three is illumination. So it's like that eureka moment. Like I've got the idea, you know. So for me, for example, when I get that, if I'm sleeping, I have to get up. I have to get working on it. I can't write it down. I have to start it, and I stop when I'm finished. So sometimes it takes 2 days and whatever.
Right. Right.
Step four would be the exploration. So how you go about developing the idea? Do you work alone? Do you show to other people? Do you like what's your approach in regard to that? And then
Right. Right.
your implementation. Like I'll give you an example for certain people. The challenge for them, they get the high out of solving the puzzle. That's enough
Right.
for them. Some people like they want to share that with others. It becomes a product, whatever it is. So the implementation of that idea, you know. So that's it. So phase one, do you remember what it is? Inspiration. What do you do for inspiration?
For inspiration, I guess the best way of putting it is, for inspiration is, one of the things I've always told everyone is that the only way you get better is by doing more.
And
So
I don't want to
my
cut you off right here, Bobby, because I just realized. Could you introduce maybe yourself a little bit? Because
Sure.
I barely even know you personally.
Okay.
But just for like maybe to paint like a picture of what is it? Would you say you're a mentalist? You're a magician? You're a creative? How do you present yourself?
Okay, so my name is Bobby Motta, and I am a mentalist.
Yeah.
And a mentalist is someone who works under the umbrella of magic. So a lot of what I do is magic based, but it's creating the illusion of mind reading.
Yeah.
So what we do is we create the illusion of mind reading and using props and using different words and stuff just to be able to influence the spectators to believe what you're saying is real, even though it may not be.
Yeah.
And we use a lot of neurolinguistics programming, eye movements, body language, and to figure out what people are thinking.
Yeah.
And that's the basics of how we pitch what we do.
No, it's excellent. Yeah, for sure. Have you been doing this for a long time?
Over 25 years.
But you're barely 35 now, so you started at 10.
I'm 52. But thank you.
Yeah, so that's incredible. And have you seen an evolution in this field?
I mean, it evolves, and it evolves with people like, my one of my good friends is David Blaine, and it evolves with people that are seen on TV, and it blossoms into a beautiful, beautiful thing where people watch it and they have fun watching it. They
Yeah.
get laughs and they have joy, and I believe to be able to have a job that you're bringing smiles to people's faces
Yeah.
is there's nothing better, and you
No,
get paid, and you get paid for that.
I totally agree. Yeah, to be able to
So
have that gift, to be able to share that on the snap of a finger, I think it's a privilege in a certain sense, no?
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%, yes.
And just like, do you do that like do you perform just like only in formal settings, or do you like how do you do your stuff?
If I get called to do a show for an event, if it's a corporate event and there's like 300 or 400 people in the audience, they have a stage for me or a riser. I set up my case. I stand and I face people and I just start and mainly it's just speaking, being able to like
Yeah,
speak to them, connect with them, and have them watch what you do, and you start doing your effects, and the effects are all illusion based. So I'll give them something to write down on, and I'll stand there sitting on a chair, not looking at anything, and I'll tell them what
yeah,
they just wrote,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
And but do you still do it like or still do it? Do you do it like on informal basis? Like let's say when you go to a restaurant, you do that like you get a kick out of doing that on a day to day?
I think so. Yeah, I have an addiction. I have an addiction to this. So for me, it all started with, wow, this is like you're actually impressing people.
Yeah.
It becomes like a talent, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. So people think, oh, there's something about this person that's
Yeah,
different than normal
I
humans,
love that. I love
right?
that. And with your
Exactly.
fiance, did they ever ask her if she's afraid of you?
What's that?
Do they ever ask when you go with your fiance, do they ever ask her if she's afraid of you?
She's been asked once or twice. Yeah,
I get that sometimes. I like
you
that.
as well. That's
So sorry for the interruption. So because you already were like on the start off with the inspiration. So if we go back, just where you were starting. So step one, inspiration. What you do like on a day to day. You seem like just very lively off the bat and stuff like that. But is there
I
something that you
think,
need to do
you know,
to kind of like keep that, like lively?
my inspiration comes from, even when I go to like the dollar store and I walk down
Yeah.
the aisles, I look at the items and I think, what can be used with that? What's an
You're
item?
always on.
Always on. You have
Okay.
to be. It's always been like that. And sometimes when I remember once I did an interview on a morning show and I said most of my ideas come to me when I'm sitting on the toilet.
It could happen.
So when I'm sitting on the toilet, or if I'm in the
Yeah.
shower, I'm alone,
Yeah.
ideas start coming to me, because my
Yeah.
brain is going, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
can
For
I,
sure.
what can you do in this situation? I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things I've always done, and I think I'm one of the only ones in the world that started doing this, is I have my ring, and I have
Yeah.
someone hold it, and hold in one of their hands, so I figure out which hand it's in just by
Okay.
putting my hand underneath it. I know exactly where it is, and the process of doing that is easy.
Yeah.
Is so easy. One of my friends, David Blaine, I did it to him, and he was like, "How do you do that?" So
Yeah.
I showed it to him, and it's funny because he can't do it.
Okay.
And
Because
there's
do you find that sometimes when you come up with like you found that technique came to you personally because you kind of like were marinating that a little bit,
if I
and it,
told you,
it and it was because that like I'll give you an example. Sometimes I come across an idea like that on a tangent. I would have maybe like did you try to doing that with a coin and then it evolved into the ring? Like why did you go to the ring?
so I did it with a coin first, and I used electronics, and I used Craig Felicetti material, and how I can figure out what they're holding in which hand. And it grew into, okay, so if I do it this way, and if I
Yeah.
add this in there, and it started to evolve,
Yeah.
right?
And did like let's say okay, so if we stick on this one, okay, so that was your inspiration, you got loose, and then now that thing came up. Your incubation. So you don't necessarily set aside, I'm working now. Like you just said, your work, it's not work, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, it's a passion, it's a
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is.
And so basically, do you need to ever turn that off a little bit so that you refuel, like beyond going like to the bathroom or the shower or stuff like that? Like you
Absolutely,
meditate,
yeah.
for example?
I do meditate. I meditate every day. I meditate a lot, especially more now than ever because of the accident and whatnot. And I've been through a lot even recently that it's just, I got to sit back and think, okay, just breathe. Even, implementing breathing techniques and
Definitely.
learning how to breathe properly just so I can empty my mind, relax my soul, and just, start from fresh.
And try to attempt David Blaine's world record of breath holding.
I don't want to do that. That doesn't interest me at all, actually. I mean, I like stunts, but I don't think the whole breath holding thing is a big deal for me because I mean, I can do it, and if I practice, if I did what he did, I'm sure I can get to a certain level, but doesn't interest me as much.
No, no, I understand. Yeah. And you were saying like just earlier in regards to accident, is that something that you want to maybe elaborate on? Because
Sure.
yeah, so yeah, you're saying that
So
you yeah,
February the 18th, 2018, I was walking near Yonge and Eglinton. It's a downtown area of Toronto, and
you're in Canada
uh
for people who aren't aware, in Canada, correct? It's the
Yeah,
same.
Toronto, Canada. And I was in a meeting with my ex-wife and someone who was helping me with my promotions. And we were done the meeting, and I told my wife to wait there, and I'm going to go get the car. So I went to walk, and I walked across the road. I jaywalked, which I shouldn't, but I jaywalked. Everyone jaywalks. And a car traveling somewhere in the area of 80 kilometers
Wow.
hit me on foot, and I woke up 5 months later.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I woke up with a traumatic brain injury. So
Yeah.
I didn't know my name. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know anything. So I needed a team of people for my recovery, which was lasted for like 3 years. I needed speech language pathologist, an occupational therapist, a
Yeah.
daily assistant, um, a personal support worker who I'm engaged to now and I live with. I had a whole list of people that were trying to help me recover, and my recovery took 3 years, and pretty much back again.
Did
I'm
it
not as I'm not
do
as
any
muscular
sway
as I
into
was.
your work in any fashion?
Well, the good thing is, for me, things started to come back, and I have a lot of videos of me performing, and I did a lot of things on TV, and I was able to watch all those things that I did, and I was like, oh, that's what I did. That's what a mentalist does. And it slowly began to come back. And I did shows. I started doing shows again, and the shows became powerful. And the effects are pretty much the same, but newer and better and stronger. And all I got to do is I got to script more.
Mhm.
I know before my accident, when I was performing, most of my material was scripted really well.
Okay.
But I was also known for being able to go on stage and go off my script. So
Yeah.
I was good at that. And I think that's something I carry naturally. So I'm able to do a show without being scripted
Yeah.
and
Off the
blow
cuff.
and blow them away, right? So
Yeah.
then that is, and being able to do that is how to be comedic, how to be friendly, how to understand humans, how to
Mhm.
connect, and that became like a very big part of my life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so, and that, let's so if we continue, so that means that the next step would be illumination, so that eureka moment. Okay. So for you, how do you know, like, how do you feel like or process that part when you get like, okay, that's the answer to my puzzle? Like, how does that happen for you?
When you give it enough thought, you start to realize, okay, there's this way or there's this way, and then you can add ideas into it. And
Mhm.
then once you have an idea and you know it works, you do it, you try it. And I would try it with my fiance, or I'd try it with a friend, or I would try it at my next show or whatever, and see what the response is, see if it actually works. If it works really well, you can keep it in, and then you can script into it, and now it becomes a beautiful piece,
Yeah.
not just an effect. It becomes like an actual piece where, oh, it's got patter, it's got movement, it's got stage position, it's got eye connections, all those things turn it into a eureka moment.
Because you since the beginning, the way that you seem to describe these things, there seems to be like a lot of layering. It's not just like
Always,
it's never just like a single one component thing. Like there's an ecosystem.
always layering, always layering. Yeah.
Okay.
And the more layers, sometimes the better.
Okay.
Sometimes the less layers are better. If it's small and easy,
Mhm.
sometimes it's great. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I have a few pieces that I do that are just quick, fast, and sometimes they're powerful, and sometimes they're the most powerful, like
Yeah. So
they'll
it's
walk.
simple doesn't mean a bad or a weak effect.
No, not at all. I mean, there's one thing I do in my show. It's been something I actually created. Do you know Scorpion?
You mean from the Mortal Kombat?
I have a product called Scorpion that I released like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And Scorpion is an item that can move things.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing with the light bulb.
Yes, that one.
There we go.
That's Scorpion. So I released that, and in that Scorpion itself is such an easy thing to do, and it takes
Mhm.
only a few seconds.
Is it still
And it's
available by any chance?
no, it's not available anymore.
Ah.
No, no, no. I know. I might have one or two left, so we can
No,
talk
I'm just
after.
wondering because if you're saying at the same time, if someone's listening and they're interested,
No, unfortunately it's not. No, and my ex-wife kind of took over the whole product sales, so she's handling everything now. But I mean, I still have like lethals. We can make them. Um, Tastes are discontinued. Movements are discontinued. Scorpions.
but that's what you're saying.
Um,
So that Scorpion one was like super simple and
oh, it was so good. Yeah, it was a small product that just basically connected to wherever you need to connect it to,
yeah,
and the uses something that can help move things.
yeah,
And it's all remote, so no
yeah,
one knows. It's done
definitely.
secretly. It's great. It's great.
So basically, you create products as well.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it was more like, okay, when I'm on stage and I'm doing something, and I think, oh, it would be great if I can have something make this do this, and then I put my
Utility.
brain in. I think about what it could be, and then I
Yeah,
call my contacts, like my electronic guy or my builder or
yeah.
whoever, and talk to them and see if a product can be made for this. And
You see,
sometimes
that
they
could
send,
actually lead right away into step four, actually, which would be the exploration, because you're just
yeah.
mentioning yourself. I got my tech guy, I got this and that. So you got even like within that ecosystem, you got
Mhm,
like
mhm.
your arsenal of brains with you.
Right, right. I
So
mean,
you're able
I
to
have.
like delegate those things out because I'm just asking like that because certain people they're like that stays in an airproof chamber until it's done, and that's that.
It's funny because when you start in this industry itself, you start to realize there's certain things that you can implement to make the things that you do strong.
Yes.
And you start to connect with the right people, and those people do things and makes you think, okay, so if this person is good with electronics and I need something developed to make this happen here, I can put my whole idea on paper, send it to them, and then they can say, "Oh, well, we can add this to it," and
Yeah.
they have a different kind of method of
Perspective.
whatever,
Yes.
right, perspective.
But that's so okay. So that means that you're. See, it depends because I don't know if this is ego per se. Like, you give me your opinion on this. Okay, you're comfortable enough sharing that and leaving other people inject into this. I'm hearing.
Right, right.
Okay. Do you think that that is common with other people?
I wouldn't say
Creators, I mean.
I wouldn't say it's common. I don't really know.
Just because of reason, I find that that is proof or testament to someone's confidence.
Right,
Because you have to
right.
kind of let go a bit.
Well, you got to be confident. I mean, confidence can be applied to anything. I mean, driving, walking. Are you confident enough to walk there? Are you confident enough to do this? Are you confident enough to walk on stage in front of 2,000 people?
Yeah.
And when I first started, I had a problem sweating. So when I
Mhm,
was nervous, I would sweat. So I
mhm.
would walk on stage and I'd be completely sweaty. And I have to figure out ways I can cover the sweat. So my clothes have to be different. The colors have to be different. But then after, a few years, I stopped sweating.
Mhm.
And it became more of like okay, what do I say when I walk on stage? I'm not nervous anymore. How do I become, how do I connect with people? And I realized after a while that a comedic intro for me was the best way to do it, because now everyone's kind of like, he's funny.
Yeah,
Okay,
an
good. So now,
icebreaker. Yeah.
icebreaker, exactly.
Mhm.
And now everyone's comfortable and you can start.
And then you get the ice pick right away. So
And
I get what
yeah,
you're saying. You get the guards down, and when
right,
they're at the
right,
weakest, then you attack.
right, right,
I
right. And
like
everything,
this.
and everything is done in threes.
Okay,
Like
okay.
everything in life is done in threes. So for me, I
I so
do
you like
three,
numerology.
absolutely. So
Okay.
three effects,
Yeah.
breathe, three effects, breathe, and it goes the three powerful effects. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, he's good.
Yeah.
Three okay effects,
Yeah.
three more powerful effects, and three really powerful effects. And the
Do you
ending has
ever
to be
put
bam.
mistakes in there?
Absolutely. Because if you don't put mistakes in there, you're not human.
And I find that it takes away from the credibility.
Exactly,
A
exactly. So
little
like,
bit.
I even point out the fact that, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. That's obviously, now you know what I'm doing is real,
Exactly. And
right?
I
So
find that they root for you. I mean, they don't want you to fail. So
right,
when I find like when you pick it up after the next one, they get behind you. They're rooting for you to not fail.
absolutely.
You know?
They want you to get it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So when you look at them, say, okay, so what you just wrote down on that paper is something to do with a food group, and they're like,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah. Exactly. See,
yeah,
yeah, I like that because so you feed off of that energy of them.
absolutely, absolutely. You have to,
You just
and
saying that you got all peppy there.
exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah. You get excited,
Yeah. So
yeah,
listen, we're threading along, and so phase five would be the implementation.
okay,
You were humble enough to that maybe not maybe the word wasn't necessarily confident, more like humble enough to be able to like share your ideas. Just because certain people like within the business too, ideas like there's I find that there's a lot of drama like in this industry for some
right,
reason because of the whole idea the concept of ideas are original on certain levels, you
right,
know.
right,
And
right.
I have like a background within like music where like
Mhm.
we have remixing, or covers.
Right.
It's just an interpretation of these things and it grows, you know. So to be able to say I'm comfortable enough to be able to show this to someone, he's not going to steal my idea or he injected a piece of an idea and then all of a sudden he's taking all the credit. So that's why
Right.
I'm trying to express, you're able to put that stuff out and not be someone's going to rip me off or,
Yes. Yes. I think, it's funny because I've had people come to my show before when I was performing, and they would sit in the back of the theater and they would take notes down.
Yes,
And I had guys that worked for me at that theater that looked for that.
yes.
And they would approach them and see what they're writing.
Mhm.
And I got into some real heated arguments because of that, because some people were there just to steal my ideas. Right? And it was like you're filming or you're taking notes. What are you
Yeah.
really doing? What do
Mhm.
you do? Oh,
Mhm.
they're a magician, they're a mentalist, and they're trying to steal your ideas. And
Mhm.
my guys would come and tell me, I don't know what you want to do, but this guy's taking notes, and we
Mhm.
know he's a magician, he's a mentalist,
Mhm.
and I think they're trying to steal ideas. So I would go to them and say, I know that you were taking notes. Can I please see those notes? And they would say no. So no, I was writing things down. I'm like, you came down to take notes for my show,
Yeah.
and you're gonna go back and steal my ideas. Like you can't do that, because first of all, it won't be me, it will be you, and it will offend me. And what you're doing is you're actually stealing the copywritten ideas of some things that I've created. So what are you doing? Then I would kick them out.
No, no, no,
No,
for sure, for sure. I like the only way that for me personally that seems to be working is when you put things on paper or write a lot, it kind of dates them and logs them. So even if someone does a cross the road copy or imitate or something, at least there's some sort of like ground proof that you're the originator, on a
right,
certain.
right. For me, it's like I've done the things that I've created. I've done them on TV. There is record. There's public record.
Yeah.
So if they do it, then I can say, this is look at the date of this, and look at
Yes.
what you're doing. It's obviously it's something that you're stealing. So And I,
You've got those two dogs I hear trained for those kind of people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a Doberman that passed away just over a year ago,
Oh
and
no.
he was good. He was really good.
What's his
He was
name?
Tigo.
Yeah, see.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now he's replaced with well, no, you can never replace. But now it's COVID, the dog.
COVID, COVID and Vina. Yeah, and COVID is a muscular boy.
Sure about the so when Bobby came back, um, so we remember Kevin Hamden invited you to watch a show downtown, and then you were so surprised. The guy was doing your show. It looks like you're
Oh,
Oh
so
God.
Yeah.
Kevin Hamden invited me to go see this guy's show, and he's a mentalist that performs with this girl, and I'm watching what he did on stage, and I'm like,
Yeah, we're
hold on, wait a minute, that's one of my routines,
Hey,
like right to a
come see my
T.
show. It's all original material. Come check it
Yeah.
out.
And so I watched, and I was like, I'm watching this show, and I'm like, that's exactly like one of my routines.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
after the show, he looked at me. He had a shocked look on his face, like, "Oh, like Bobby is here." So he came up to me and he goes, "Bobby, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. You came to my show. I love you. I've been watching you for years. Blah blah blah. And I know that you saw me perform this routine, and you might think that I was trying to steal it from you, but it wasn't. It was just me. I loved what you did, and I really wanted to own it, so I did it. I hope it's okay with you."
Mhm.
So what was I supposed to say? Like, it's not okay with me. Please take it out. No, it's fine. Do whatever. But it hurts a little bit.
No, definitely. It's unfortunately part of the game, I think,
Yes, yes, yes. And the funny thing is, I'm a victim too. I've done it too. And the thing is, I did it when I first started, and I did it. So I stole ideas of people that are now my real good friends. Like Bill Abbott is a good friend of mine, and I watched him perform, and he did this thing where I loved it so much, I used it, and I didn't tell him. And then afterwards, I went to him and I said, "Hey, Bill, I'm doing this thing with the gum and blah blah blah." And he was like, "No, it's fine. You can use it."
Yeah.
And so and so I've done it before. I know what it's like. But I'm now if I was to see another mentalist do something before I even think about entertaining the idea, I would contact them and say, I love this thing that you do.
Yes. Yeah.
I know you know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm in the industry. I'm well known in the industry. I would love to take this idea and do this with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just out of courtesy. But you'd
Out
be
of
surprised.
courtesy.
People, it's not always no.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So phase 5, the implementation. So
Okay.
yeah, so you got this there, it's ready. The idea, you've worked it out. You've you've tested it by fire in your performances.
This is the easiest part.
Then it needs to go so you want to bring things to market. So example, how do you go about that?
So it's very easy. You do it.
Yeah, I know. No, that's the thing. Like people, they sometimes they hold back on doing something because they want to wait until it's the perfect time to do it.
Well, no. There is no perfect time.
Exactly.
You're going to do it the first few times. It might not be perfect. It might not be right. But that's how you learn.
Yes. So mistake isn't a mistake is that's just a growing
absolutely. So the whole point is you have something, you have an idea, you have the effect, you have the whole process, you have the setup and everything. And how do you know if it's going to be good? You won't know until you do it. And you won't know until you do it more than once.
Better.
You have to try it a few times and see how it grows. If it becomes a thing of beauty, it becomes powerful, it becomes something that gets a good reaction, then you continue to grow with it. You put your changes, you add the words, you twist it up a little bit until it becomes a beautiful piece, right?
Yeah. And like you're saying, it's a piece. So would you even go so far to say that it's like a certain art form, this thing?
Of course it is, obviously. I mean, it's what else is it? The art of mentalism, the art of magic. It's an art, right? So
well, because see, I sometimes get it depends on which kind of personality that you fall on, like in terms of a participant, because certain people could see as a mental challenge where you're kind of saying that they're stupid if they don't understand,
Yeah.
And that is it's not that. I think that maybe depends on your approach. I don't know if you could agree with that. It depends on how you just mentioned earlier, if you break the ice in a certain way, because it could come off easy as being very pretentious. But you want to lead it in a certain way where it's an experience between the two.
You have to. So one important thing is that whenever you're on, your whole aura has to be respectful. You can't be cocky. You can't be rude. You have to be respectful. You have to show patience. You have to
Yeah.
show kindness, and that kind of respect grows into a real love from your
Yeah.
spectators. You know,
Yeah.
people look at you and say, "Okay, I like this guy. He's nice, right?" So how do you do that? Think about it. You got to think, right? You have to know what you're going to do, and you also have to have some compassion to be able to stand up and know which way you're headed and hope that you're not being rude in any way. And if you are, you immediately apologize. Right?
Well, also, I mean, the world of mentalism, it's a lot on playing with emotions. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Like,
right.
you know, it's personal thoughts.
Like one thing I do all the time is I bring someone on stage and I say, "Hi, what's your name?" And they say, "Oh, Cindy." I said, "Cindy, that's correct. Good memory."
Yes,
Right there,
exactly.
I broke the ice a little bit, right?
Yeah. That's
Um,
fantastic. So
yeah,
all in all, I think that's like really complete. Like the insight that you brought, like to those 4 steps, is like, you know, super original
right.
and stuff like that. If you were to leave, like, let's say, something to resume, like an all encapsulating wisdom quote for someone like within the business, yeah, what would you, if you were to give someone some sort of bit of insight?
Okay, so one thing I do more so recently at my shows after my accident, I close off by saying, take one grain of sand and compare it to all the other grains of sand on Earth. One grain of sand compared to all the other grains of sand on Earth, oceans, deserts, mountains, uh, like forests everywhere. Did you know that there's more planets in the universe than there's grains of sand on Earth? There's more planets in the universe than there is grains of sand
Mm,
on Earth. That's how small we are. So don't take anything too
right.
serious.
Mhm.
We're here for a limited time. So love each other. I love you. This is the end.
That sounds great, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate all the time, man. It's fantastic.
So it's a thing that, you start to think, okay, well, what matters? Nothing really. We're significantly insignificant and insignificantly significant. So it's nothing really matters.
Well, unfortunately, I find that with human nature, we're a special kind of beast where we need to be put in certain situations to be able to appreciate those things, you know?
Right,
In
right.
certain cases, like I think for both of us, like illness or health issues, they kind of put you in a perspective where all these things, you get to appreciate them a lot more once that
So
you're
much
better.
more. Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so much more. You look
Yeah.
at things differently. You look at things
Completely,
differently.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
like you said, like, just to be able to take that and try to infuse people, you know, on a day to day, I find that that's really generous and kind and very loving of you, man.
You have to. Thank you. Hey. The end.